Please accept my humble obeisances, Guru Maharaj, Guru Shishla Prabhupada। सभी भक्तों को मेरा सादर प्रणाम है। तो आज रविवार है और प्राय रविवार की टॉक्स अंग्रेजी में होती है, तो आज हमारे बीच इसको नासिक के अध्यक्ष श्रीमान कृष्णधन प्रभु आज का टॉक डिलीवर करने उपस्थित है। प्रभु जी आज का टॉक अंग्रेजी में ही डिलीवर करेंगे। हर संडे अंग्रेजी में हमारी टॉक्स होती है, इसका ट्रांसक्रिप्शन आप हिंदी में पढ़ सकते हैं। और वैसे प्रभु जी मूलतः मराठी है, महाराष्ट्र से ही है, तो उनका अंग्रेजी समझने में कोई कठिनाई नहीं होगी, सरलता से आप समझ सकते हो। और साथ ही प्रभु जी एक सुंदर प्रेजेंटेशन भी दिखाएंगे। जैसे प्राय जब भी प्रभु जी टॉक्स देते हैं तो प्रेजेंटेशन के साथ ही टॉक देते हैं, तो आप बड़ी आसानी से, बड़ी सरलता से आज के विषय के ऊपर जो चर्चा होगी उस पर समझ सकते हैं। और बहुत ही दुर्लभ जो मनुष्य देह प्राप्त हुआ है उसके ऊपर कुछ प्रभु जी प्रकाश डालेंगे। तो सभी से अनुरोध है कि अपने नाम जप को विराम दे दीजिए और ध्यानपूर्वक आज का टॉक श्रवण करने तैयार हो जाइए। प्रभु कृष्णधन प्रभु से अनुरोध करते हैं आज का टॉक प्रारंभ करें। प्रभु जी, कृष्णधन प्रभु, ओवर टू यू।
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam Maharaj ji. Thank you, Padmamali Prabhu, for being so kind to me. So let us begin by offering prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So I'd like to welcome all of you for this session, and my thanks to Padmamali Prabhu for giving me a very special topic. And the topic you all might be knowing, it's about the rarity of human form of life. So I'd like to begin with a shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam, and then we will proceed further. So this is third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 15, and shlok number 24. The chapter is entitled Description of Kingdom of God. What has happened? The background is Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu are in the womb of Diti, and because of their presence, the entire universe has become dark, and so many inauspicious things are happening. So demigods are bewildered, and in that state of bewilderment, these demigods are approaching Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma is now describing the entire description of Vaikuntha, and basically he wants to tell about the background of Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, that is Jay and Vijay. So therein, when Brahmaji is telling to these devatas, this shloka comes. यभ्यर्थिताम् अपि चतो नृगतिं प्रपन्ना ज्ञानं च तत्त्वविषयं सह धर्मं यत्र नाराधनं भगवतो वितरन्त्यमुष्य सम्मोहिता विततया बतमायया ते. So I'll read the translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Lord Brahma said, my dear demigods, the human form of life is of such importance that we also desire to have such life. For in the human form, one can attain the perfect religious truth and knowledge. If one in this human form of life does not understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his abode, it is to be understood that he is very much affected by the influence of external nature. Purport. Brahmaji condemns very vehemently the condition of the human being who does not take interest in the personality of Godhead and his transcendental abode Vaikuntha. The human form of life is desired even by Brahmaji, Brahma and other demigods, have much better material bodies than human beings, yet the demigods, including Brahma, nevertheless desire to attain the human form of life because it is especially meant for living entity who can attain transcendental knowledge and religious perfection. It is not possible to go back to Godhead in one life, but in human form, one should at least understand the goal of life and begin Krishna consciousness. It is said that the human form is the great boon because it is the most suitable boat for crossing over the Nissan's ocean. The spiritual master is considered to be the most able captain in the boat, and the information from the scriptures is the favorable wind for floating over the ocean of Nissan's. The human being who does not take advantage of all these facilities in this life is committing suicide. Therefore, one who does not begin Krishna consciousness in the human form of life loses his life to the influence of illusory energy, and Brahma regrets the situation of such a human being. So, we see from here that Lord Brahma himself says that I am aspiring for this human form of life, and even demigods also aspire for this human form of life. So it is very essential to understand how rare this human form of life is. And when Padmamali Prabhu asked me about this topic, then I thought of making a small presentation on this rarity of human form of life, and we began the presentation with this beautiful quote from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is spoken by Lord Brahma to demigods. So for next half an hour or so, I have just made an acronym human to understand the importance of human life. In this, the H stands for it's highly rare. U is the ultimate opportunity it offers. M, though the human form of life is momentary, temporary, it has a lot of asset value. That is A. And N stands for now or never. Abhi nahi to kabhi nahi. So let us begin the human form of life. First is very rare. Rare. Even demigods aspire for it. That is the proof that human form of life is very rare. Now, in this purport we just read, Srila Prabhupada mentions that Brahma and demigods have such bodies, such facilities. Even people want to go to Swarga, they do this yagya, that yagya, so that, they go to Swarga, and people's aspiration is that. Even if someone dies, not knowing where the person has gone, people write, Swargavasi so and so. So that much is the craze for entering into Swarga. And Swargalokam Vishalam in Gita, Krishna also talks about that. Vishalam means it is great, great in terms of facilities, great in terms of the enjoyment available over there. So that is the greatness of Swarga. And what to speak of Brahma Lok, Brahma is the main creator, and there are some partial inundations, partial pralay happens where the Brahma Lok itself is not destroyed. So these people, the residents of these highly elevated planets, Devatas, even Lord Brahma, they say that this human form of life we aspire for. So from this we can understand how rare it is and what it must be offering to us. In all the study of my scriptures, I have never found a single verse which tells us that Lord is Durlabha. Rather, obtaining the Lord is very Sulabha. In 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, Ananyacheta satatam yomam smarti nityashah tasyaham sulabha partha nityayuktasya yoginah. So one who thinks of me constantly, I am very sulabh. I can be very easily obtained by that person. So everywhere you will find in the scriptures that Lord is very easily obtained. It's very easy to obtain the Lord. But to obtain the human form of life is not so easy. It's very rare. and therefore even demigods aspire for it. So we saw a proof of rarity and aspiration from even demigods from the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now let us go to the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, wherein demigods pray again. Aho amisham kimakari shobhanam prasanna esham sviduta swayam harihi yairjanmalabdham nrushubharatajire mukunda sevau paikam spruhahinaha. What he says? Oh, Amisham means these inhabitants of Bharatvarsha. Kimakari Shobhanam, what auspicious activities these residents of Bharatvarsha might have performed. Prasanna Esham Siddhuta Swayam Harihi. What they say? The Lord personally, Svi Uta, or it is said that Yair Janma Labdham Nurushu Bharatajire, that Janma they have obtained in this Bharatvarsha is so special. We don't know what kind of auspicious activities these residents might have performed. Why it is so special? Because Mukunda Sevo Paikam, they can obtain the service of the lotus feet of Lord Mukunda, and Spruha Hi Naha. Naha means us. Spruha means desire. Even we desire this human form of life. So demigods are saying this. See the speciality. Not only that, if we turn to 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there also स्वर्गिणोपेतमिच्छन्ति लोकं निरैणस्तथा साधकं ज्ञान भक्तिभ्याम उभयं तद असाधकम. What is it? Swargino api icchanti. The residents of heavenly planets also desire human form of life. Nirainas lokam. Even the residents of hellish planets want human form of life. So ubhayam tad asadhakam, for both of them this is very difficult to obtain. And what this human form of life can offer? Sadhakam jnana bhakti bhyam. So transcendental knowledge and loving devotion to the Lord is obtainable only in human form of life. And therefore even the residents of highest planet, that is Swargalok, and the residents of the lowest planet, that is hellish, Nirayanas tatha, so both of them aspire. So we are living in the middle actually, Martyalokam. So this is like middle place. Human beings are residing in middle place. So those who are below us, they are also looking up to us. We want human form of life. And those who are above us from top, they are looking at the bottom. We want human form of life. So everyone is aspiring for human form of life. We can understand how rare it is. And why demigods aspire? Because demigods say that in Swargaloka, a lot of enjoyment is available. And therefore, Mukunda Seva is not possible. We can't think of Lord Mukunda in lot of enjoyment. Like if we all know engineering degree takes 4 years, to complete. And if someone offers us something, that we have opened a college wherein, and the very famous college, it's not like some open university or type that, but it's like very, very prestigious like Harvard, and they say that we have opened a college wherein you take admission. In 1 month, we give engineering degree. Fees is also not very high. You just come, attend the class, give one simple exam. In 1 month, you will get the degree, which is equivalent to the 4 years of degree. Everyone will look towards that, In 1 month, we can become an engineer. Such a prestigious thing, which we cannot do even in 4 years. People take 5 years also. So why this human form of life is so sought after is that in just small span of life, 70, 80 years, one can attain love of the Supreme Lord. One can get the supreme destination in such a small span of life. And therefore it is highly rare. Okay, understand that it is highly rare, but what does it offer? What ultimate opportunity? U stands for the ultimate opportunity, is the best chance for spiritual progress, which no body offers. Only in human form of life one can inquire into deep questions. Athato Brahma Jigyasa is only for human beings. Devtas, they don't ask this question ever because they are enjoying. Trees, plants, birds, they don't ask this question because they cannot. So who can ask? Only human beings. Who am I? Why am I here? What am I supposed to do? All these questions are possible only in human body. And when we ask these questions, that offers the ultimate opportunity to attain the service to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And Avadut Brahmana, while mentioning about his 24 gurus in Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, he says a very wonderful thing. What he says? सृष्ट्वा पुराण विविधान्यजयात्मशक्त्या वृक्षान् सरिसृप पशून् खगदन्दशूकान् तैस्तैरतुष्टहृदयः पुरुषं विधाय ब्रह्मावलोकधिषणं मुदमापदेवः. What is it? Very wonderful thing. Sruštva means having created. Purani Vividhani means different types of species. Now, the Supreme Lord is created. Now, what this Avadut Brahman is saying, the Supreme Lord has created various living entities. Atma Shaktya, by his own internal potency. What he has created? Vrikshan. All trees were created by the Supreme Lord. And then what he says, after that, Sarisrupan is reptiles are created. Pashun, birds. Pashun means animals, sorry. Pashun are bird. Then Khaga means the birds which fly in the sky. And then the Shukan, that means snakes. When the Supreme Lord created all these varieties of species, but Lord was not satisfied in the heart. But then he created human beings. Purusham Vidhaya. Purush here refers to human beings. Then he created human being. And what happened after he created the human being? Vidhaya means created human beings. Brahmavaloka Dhishanam. Brahma means the absolute truth. When the Lord saw the human being, what happened? Mudam apadevaha. The Lord was very happy. Mudam means, Gunadhikan, Mudam lipset. Mudam means happy. You should become happy. So Lord became happy after creating the human beings. Now the Lord has created everything. Lord was not happy. The Lord was unsatisfied from within, even after creating so many things. But when he created human beings, the Lord was very happy. Why the Lord was happy after creating the human beings is because then the Lord thought, now I have created something by which the living entity can come back to me. And that is the purpose of creation. And going back to Godhead is the ultimate opportunity which is available only in human form of life. And therefore, Uddhava in Uddhav Gita tells to the Lord, this shloka, the translation of which was like paraphrased in today's third canto purport, which we discussed. Nrudehamadyam sulabam sudurlabam plavam sukalpam gurukarnadharam mayanukule nanabasvateritam puman bhavabdim natarets atmaha. Again, Nrudehamadyam, we have obtained this human form of life. Sudurlabham. Now you have easily obtained. Have we put some efforts that I want human form of life? No, we haven't. So we have easily obtained, but it is very rare. Sudurlabham. Not only durlabh, it is sudurlabh. As I mentioned in the beginning, Lord, to obtain Lord is sulabh, but to obtain human form of life is durlabh. Sudurlabham. It's very difficult. Very durlabh, very rare. Now you have obtained this human form of life. In this human form of life, this is compared to a boat. Plavam sukalpam. Now what is that? This material world is compared to ocean. Ocean of Nescience, Srila Prabhupada translates. And in the ocean, we cannot swim. Recently, I met one girl, Tanvi. She stays in Nasik only, and she swam across the English Channel, 34 kilometers. So she was telling her experience, the ocean is very salty and the tides are there, and the jellyfish, they bite you. So it's very horrible experience. So she was able to do that 34 kilometers, but ocean is unlimited actually. That was just a channel. So ocean to cross beyond is very difficult. We need a solid boat. Human form of life is compared to that boat. And Guru Karnadharam, we don't just need a boat, but we need a captain who can sail the boat. And spiritual master is that captain who can sail the boat into the ocean. And then the Lord says, Maya Anukule Nanamavsvateritam. We need also the favorable air. The scriptures given by the Lord are nothing but the favorable wind for this boat to be carried to its destination. And then Uddhav says, Puman Bhavabdhim na taret sa atmaha. If one doesn't cross over this ocean with the help of this good body, the good captain, and the good airs, then he is committing suicide. Atmaha. So, this ultimate opportunity which is offered by this human form of life, that is to go back home, back to Godhead. Next is M stands for it is momentary, it is very temporary, it is very fleeting. Kamaladala jala jeevana talamala. It is like a dew drop on the lotus leaf. At any time, it can vanish. So we should understand the temporary nature of this human form of life, that anytime it can be taken away from us, as people say, as sure as death. We don't know when it is going to diminish. We don't know when it's going to be taken away from us. So it's very momentary. Kshanik, Kshanabhangur. And that's what Avadut Brahman again says, from where this momentary word has come. Labdhva sudurlabhamidam bahusam bhavante manushamarthadam anityamapiha dhiraha turnam yatetna patet anumrutyavan nishreyasaya vishaya khalu sarvatah syat. Momentary. Labdhva sudurlabham idam, which is very difficult to obtain. Now you have obtained it. Manusham, human form of life. Anityam, it is anitya. Nitya means eternal. Anitya is momentary. It is very anitya, but it is arthadam. Arthadam means it can give you the ultimate opportunity to obtain the Lord. Turnam yatet na patet anumurti yavan. Still you have a healthy body and you are not close to death. We should engage in the service of the Lord. Nishreyasaya, work for something long term. Vishayah khalu sarvatah syat. The sense gratification is available everywhere, right? All species of life, they just endeavor for that. So this word anityam gives us this M, which is momentary. Anitya, it is temporary. Though it is temporary, though it is momentary, we need to understand what is the asset of value. A stands for asset of value means what? This is the financial term actually. Asset of value means some valuable asset we possess, can grant us eternal benefits, like which we discussed in the previous shloka. Anityam, though it is momentary, but arthadam means it can grant something higher. Though it is anitya, adruvam api arthadam. Arthadam means the asset of value, something very precious. You have something very precious, and what it can offer us, it is more precious than any precious thing on the planet, more than wealth, more than knowledge, more than fame. So it can be either invested for some eternal returns or for temporary pleasures. Like, when we talk about investment, we invest somewhere, we invest there from where we get good returns. So similarly, this human form of life is like a tool that can be invested. Shariram adyam khalu dharma sadhanam. It is a sadhan. It is a tool that can, so with the help of which we can invest. So we can invest somewhere where we can get eternal benefits, or we can invest somewhere where it will be lost. Like in share market, people invest. So investment, some people invest intelligently somewhere by daiva, they get very good returns. And somewhere on some investments, some people lose, right? From Karodapati, they become Rodapati. They lose everything. So similarly, the human form of life, what it can give us, the set of value is so high. When we look for returns on investment, how much I'm going to get. Similarly, we should also look for that in the human form of life. What I will invest there, from where I can get the maximum returns. And that is possible only in the spiritual forum. That therefore the Lord was happy when he created human beings. He was not happy when he created birds, trees, reptiles, or snakes. Because the asset of value is more for human beings. And therefore, Prahlad Maharaj also told his friends, because the asset of value, investment, you can get good returns, therefore invest early. Kaumaram acharet pragyo dharman bhagvataniha durlabham manusham janma tadapi adruvam arthadam. Everything comes here. Durlabham manusham janma. Human form of life is very rare. And tadapi adruvam, it is, dhruva means eternal, stable. Adruvam means unstable. The body is unstable. The body is temporary. But arthadam, again the comes. It can give you a lot of artha, something meaningful. It can give you a good return on investment. And therefore invest early, he says. Kaumaram acharet pragyo dharman bhavadar. From your Kumara stage itself, you start walking on the path of dharma. Bhagavad Dharma, he says. So it's very rare. It can give you ample returns. So let us not waste even a single moment of this. Now, one time in BTJ, I saw this picture. Very amazing picture, thought provoking. This person has got a car, and the picture itself is self explanatory. The farmer, one time, someone might have gifted him a car, or he has obtained the car, he don't know how to use it. So how he is using the car, and he is using the car to till the soil, to till the land, and for farming purposes. This is the worst use of the car, right? The tractor is meant to do that. And similarly, I have got this laptop in front of me, and it has so many functions. I can make presentations, I can make so many things and use it properly. But if I just use the laptop for teaching A, B, C, D, and that's all, and nothing else, then that is underutilization actually. So here we see this car is being not used properly. So what will happen? Two things will happen when the car is used to till the soil. First is the car itself will get damaged because it doesn't have that much power, or it may get stuck up in the palm. And second thing, you will not even fulfill your purpose of tilling the soil, right? Because it doesn't have that much horsepower, which is essential for tilling the sand. So the vehicle is getting destroyed, and then the palm is also not getting tilled, so purpose is not fulfilled. Similarly, when the human form of life is utilized for lower purposes, the body is spoiled and the purpose is not even satisfied. Then how much we can obtain, क्षुल्ल सुखाय दुःखम महद्गतानां विरमाय तस्य प्रवर्तये भागवतं पुराणं यदाह साक्षात् भगवान ऋषिभ्यः क्षुल्ल सुखाय महद्गतानां. So for thiskshulla sukha, temporary pleasure, it's like, you are purchasing a gulab jam. Okay, gulab jam is sweet. But what is the cost of the gulab jam? 1 crore rupees. That person will be called as a mad fellow who will purchase one gulab jam for 1 crore rupees. Right? Similarly, anyone who uses this valuable asset of human form of life for lower purposes of sense gratification, that person is called as mad fellow. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj advises that what he advises from the beginning itself, though the body is adhruvam, it can give you arthadam. So utilize it for good purposes, Bhagavad Dharma purposes. And the last in the acronym is N, now or never. So we have got this golden opportunity of this human form of life. Don't waste this golden chance. It should be like Prahlad says, Kaumar, it should begin now. There was one shloka which I learned in my childhood. I don't remember it exactly now, but Yavadasti Indriya Shakti Apratihata, Yavanna Dure Jara. Still, we have this Indriya Shakti, we have these sensory powers, and still we have not become very old. Yavanna Dure Jara. We need to use this for higher purposes, and postponing something for future, that is wasting the valuable energy. So if it is not done now in this form of life, Prabhupada said at least begin. Okay, going back home, back to Godhead may not be possible even in one life. Now, many lives might be required, but at least you should begin in this human form of life so that we can perfect. And at some other place in the purport, Prabhupada says going back to Godhead in this life is very easy. Just follow what I have given you. So when we have obtained this human form of life, it's very essential for us to understand its value and not waste a single moment of this. I remember when I was working with HL for aircraft manufacturing, one time for producing tools, they once purchased a machine which was called as idiom wire cut machine, electro discharge machine, which is wire cut machine, electro discharge through wire cut, and then the precise tools are prepared by this machine. The cost of the machine was like 5 crores. One machine costing 5 crores. So when the machine was installed, the very first instruction was given to that department who was using that machine. And what was the instruction? I was there at the time. The instruction was this machine should never be idle. Because we have invested so much on this machine, we should take the machine was working in 3 shifts, all 3 shifts. So means 24 hours the machine should work. No break, no halt. Why? Because we have invested so much. So we should take as many returns from this machine as possible. So the machine, they have invested some amount and they want to take maximum out of it. Imagine the machine which is given to us, this human form of body, yantra. This is also yantra. Yantra arudhani maya yagita says this is also yantra. So we should take out maximum from every moment of this yantra. And how we can take out maximum? King Nimi tells this to Navayogendras when he met them and asked some questions to them. Durlabho manusho deho dehinam kshanabhangurah tatrapi durlabham manne vaikuntha priya darshanam. Durlabho manusho deho, human form of life is very rare, first of all. And this kshanabhangur, it's very momentary, it's very flickering, it's very temporary. In human form of life itself is temporary. And Krishna says, Manushanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhe yatam api siddhanam kaschid mam vetti tatvatah. It's very rare, and even those people turning to spirituality are very rare. And in that rare, durlabham, tatrapi durlabham manne vaikuntha priya darshan. Vaikuntha priya means devotee. Devotee who is dear to the Lord. Getting their darshan is even rare. So now what we have obtained is not just a human form of life. We have turned to Lord after obtaining the human form of life, that is itself very rare. And there also, we are in the Brahmanic Sampradaya, authentic Sampradaya, that is even more rare. And herein we are getting the Vaikuntha Priya Darshanam, even the darshan, even the darshan of getting pure devotees of the Lord is very, very durlabh, rare. And when we have obtained that, which is so very rare, we discussed even the human form of life is so rare. Losing that itself is very dangerous. Now you can imagine we have got human form of life, we have got connected to parampara, we have got guru, we have got devotees, we have got the Lord, we have got ISKCON, we have got Srila Prabhupada. If after getting everything, if we lose this, then we have lost everything. So if not now, then this opportunity might not come again. And therefore, Narottam Das Thakur sings, Hari Hari Vifale Janama Guaino Manusha Janama Paya Radha Krishna na bhajiya Janiya Shuniya Vishakhainu Vifale Janama Guaino, uselessly spoiling my human form of life. When Manusha Janama Paya, if one has obtained the human form of life and Radha Krishna na bhajiya, if he is not worshipping Radha and Krishna, then Janiya Shunya Vishakhaino. Then that person is drinking poison knowingly. It is a different thing that someone feeds poison to someone else and the person eats it unknowingly, not worshipping the worshipable Lord Shri Radha and Krishna. After obtaining the human form of life, it means one is knowingly consuming poison. That is how dangerous it is. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada always quotes this verse, that Ayusha Kshana Ekopi Nalabhya Swarna Kotibihi Sachendirarthakam Nitha Kanu Hanis Tatodhika. He says, one moment lost in this human form of life, you cannot obtain it back even by giving millions of gold coins. Ayusha Kshana Ekopi, one Kshana, one moment of life. Nalabhya Swarna Koti, even if you give millions of gold coins, you will never obtain it back. It's so very precious, so very rare, and therefore it has to be utilized. Don't postpone things for future. You have opportunity to read Bhagavatam, read Bhagavatam. You have opportunity to hear it. Don't say, I'll read later, I'll do later. Don't even postpone. And the example given for postponing is what, चिंतनीया हि विपदम आदावेव प्रतिक्रिया न कूपखननम युक्तम प्रदीप्ते वहनिना गृहे. This is Subhashit. Subhashitkar says, very. There is one another phrase also in Sanskrit, prodipte bhavanam tu koopakhanalam. Krishna says, antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshaya. When someone remembers Krishna at the time of death, he will obtain me. Okay, I will remember at the time of death. But then why Krishna says again, Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mamanusmar Yuddhacha, Sarveshu, all times remember me and do your duty, fighting. So that you can become perfect in your practice, and then death is examination, right? So if the house is on fire, Pradipte Vahanina Gruhe, when the house is on fire, one doesn't start excavating a well, na kupa khananam yuktam. So when the house is on fire, you need a big fire brigade. At that time, you cannot think, now let us, okay, the house is on fire. Okay, this is getting burned. Then you take some square in your hand and then start digging. Someone asks you, what are you doing? I'm just excavating a well so that I can get the water, so that I can then I can extinguish the fire. That is foolishness. Therefore, he said, Chintaniya hi vipadam adadeva pratikriya. That in the beginning only you have to think about the solution. Kaumaram acharit pragyo. Don't postpone spiritual life for something to be done in the future. No, it is never to be done. And therefore, Mukundamala Stotra King Kulshekar warns us, what is the greatest wonder in the world? आश्चर्यमेतद् हि मनुष्यलोके सुधां परित्यज्य विषं पिबन्ति नामानि नारायणगोचराणि त्यक्त्वान्यवाचः कुहकाः पठन्ति. आश्चर्यमेतद् हि मनुष्यलोके. In this Manushyalok, this is great Ashcharya. This is great astounding thing. What is that? Sudham parityajya. People are giving up nectar and visham pibanti. They are drinking poison. This is the Ashcharya, There is nectar and there is poison. People are giving up nectar and drinking poison. What is that? Namani Narayana Gocharani. The nectar is the chanting of the holy names of Lord Narayana. And what is Visha? Anyavachaha. Any other mundane talk. Kuhakaha patanti. But people accept that. So that is most unfortunate thing. If we use our human form of life, the association of devotees which we have obtained for just gossip and some mundane talks, then King Kulashekar says, Aho Ashcharyam, people are giving up poison and drinking, giving up nectar and drinking poison when we just talk something other than the names of the Lord. And therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself has said, Bharat Bhumite Haila Manushya Janmajar Janma Sarthaka Kari Kara Para Upakar. When we have obtained this human form of life, that too in the Bharatvarsha, then Janma Sarthaka Kari is the first thing. We have to make our life Sarthaka, perfect, by accepting what the spiritual parampara has given us. Accept that and Karapara Upakar, by sharing what we have obtained. And therefore, Lord Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita, in the concluding section, 18th chapter, he also talks about Manusya. Nacha tasman manusheshu kaschinme priyakrittamaha bhavita nacha me tasmat anya priyataro bhuvi. He says, Nacha tasman manusheshu. Of all the human beings, there are some human beings who are very dear to me. And there was no one in the past, no one in the present, and no one will in the future will be more dear to me than these people. Those who spread the message of Krishna, they are very dear. So when we have got this human form of life, let us become dear to our Supreme Lord, because He was pleased when the human beings were created. So the duty lies on us that He is pleased when the human beings are created. Let us please Him more by spreading this message of Krishna consciousness far and wide and assisting in the mission of our spiritual masters, that what they are doing, assisting in the mission of Srila Prabhupada through whatever way we can render some service through this human form of life and make our life perfect and attain the supreme goal which one is supposed to obtain after getting the human form of life. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for today's wonderful presentation on this topic. Such a beautiful topic, and you addressed it so beautifully. When this was my personal thought, I should go through this presentation in chanting my japa. It would keep us on track that what auspicious blessing we have got, this rare human form of life. तो आइए हम सब हमारी परंपरागत पद्धति से महामंत्र का उच्चारण करके श्रीमान कृष्ण जन प्रभु का हृदयपूर्वक आभार व्यक्त करते हैं आज के सत्र के लिए, जहाँ प्रभु जी ने हमें इतनी सुंदरता से और इतनी गहराई से विस्तार से समझाया किस प्रकार से ये मनुष्य देह इतना दुर्लभ है कि देवता भी इसकी आकांक्षा करते हैं। और ये पॉइंट जो भागवत से प्रभु जी ने सुनाया कि इवन भगवान ने असंतुष्ट रहे या एक प्रकार से उनके हृदय में प्रसन्नता नहीं थी जब तक मनुष्य का सर्जन नहीं हुआ। तो ये बहुत ही डायमंड पॉइंट था, जैसे हर लेक्चर में कुछ डायमंड पॉइंट्स होते हैं, तो एटलीस्ट मेरे लिए डायमंड पॉइंट था। थैंक यू सो मच प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन वर्तमान आचार्य गुरु वृंद की जय। परम पूज्य श्री लोकनाथ स्वामी गुरु महाराज की जय।
जय।
आंशा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। थैंक यू अगेन प्रभु जी।